Indonesian authorities are struggling to get aid to thousands of people displaced by a deadly earthquake in Western Java as rain triggers landslides and difficult mountainous terrain hampers the efforts of rescue teams. Monday's 5.6 magnitude earthquake, about 75 kilometres south of the capital, Jakarta, killed at least 272 people and left thousands sheltering in tents. Joining me now live is Professor David Sanderson, Chair in Architecture with UNSW Sydney. Professor, thank you for joining us. It's been a few days since this earthquake. How challenging would it be now to deliver aid to those in need in this town?
Yeah, and thank you for having me on. This has been a terrible disaster, and yes, it is difficult. The army is out, the police, the search and rescue will be there. The Prime Minister has prioritised, rightly so, getting people out from under the rubble, and as we know from other disasters, that people can survive for a number of days under rubble.
Indonesia is prone to earthquakes. We know it's been something that's happened over the years, but why do you believe that this one was particularly deadly?
Yeah, this was particularly deadly. It was actually quite a shallow earthquake that took place just 10 kilometres down. But I think the story is here's a number of deaths, and a special tragedy of over a third of those killed died in schools that collapsed. And as they say in earthquakes, it's actually the buildings that kill you, not the earthquake. And the question does have to be asked, as in other earthquakes in the past, why is it that so many children die from buildings that should not be falling down?
So what are the construction standards of buildings in Indonesia?
Well, construction standards are there, and as with many countries in the world, the challenge is whether they're adhered to. Some research some years ago found that over four-fifths of earthquakes that killed people were in countries with high degrees of corruption. And as we know, the construction industry is almost certainly the most corrupt industry there is in the world, through bad mortar mixes, or you don't put in the cement, or all kinds of things. And it's corruption and disasters that actually kill people around the world.
Is there any way to reduce the risk then of this happening on this scale in Indonesia again?
Yes, there and everywhere. The saying is the disasters are natural. It's human beings and where we are and the buildings that we're in that fall down. So there is a lot we can actually do to reduce or even prevent disasters from happening. And that happens all around the world. So it's actually holding contractors and others to account, and businesses, and stamping out the stopping of buildings that are built badly that actually fall down and, I'm sorry to say, kill children when these things happen.
You've led a number of assignments across the world in recent years, looking at a number of these buildings. What are the key issues, do you believe, around the world when we talk about risk reduction and standards?
Yeah.
I mean, what are the issues here?
Yeah, well, the issues are building them correctly. Almost every country, if not all, probably has very good building codes. The issue is how you follow them, how you police them, how you make sure that buildings are built without bribes being paid to cut corners. It's a matter of record around the world. All countries have corruption, by the way. Indonesia is in the middle in Transparency International's perception index of corruption, about 96th, I believe, out of 180 countries. So it is a global phenomenon. But the good news, there's no good news here, but the good news, sort of, is that there's a lot that can be done to reduce disasters being so big, a lot.
What about Australia? Where does Australia fit into this? Do we have higher standards?
We have higher standards. I don't know whether we have higher standards. We have standards, as does Indonesia, as does every country. It's following them. Australia has its own levels of corruption. There have been well-known corruption inquiries, royal commissions, a number of those into the construction industry, as there have been throughout the world. We're fortunate here. We don't have the scale of disaster threat that Indonesia and other countries have yet, but that's no reason to be complacent.
No, definitely not. Professor David Sanderson, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.